Hi everyone. So I'm at home today. I'm comfy and cozy, but I decided to come on because there's three things that I've been thinking about, and all three of these are potential mindset shifts that can help you move from a crafter to a CEO. I believe that these are three mind shifts that every handmade business owner needs to consider. And not only will I share the mindset, but I also will talk about the strategy that you could put into practice to help you make the shift. All right, let's get started. So the first thing I want to talk about is what I like to call the maker's trap. This is something that I definitely had to deal with, and I know a lot of handmade business owners that I speak with on a daily basis, this is one of their biggest struggles, and that is this idea of moving from being a maker and a crafter that just loves to do things to an actual business owner, CEO. Let's take a step back and let's talk about the maker mindset. The maker mindset is driven by personal expression and the simple joy of creating. This is when you say, oh my goodness, I love scrapbooking. I love card making. I love doing these things. If you ever heard anyone talk about their job and they're like, I love my job so much I would do it for free. This is the kind of mindset. I love what I'm doing so much that I would do it for free. So when we look at the other side of things, and business mindset focuses on generating profits and meeting the demands of our consumers. So let's break that down. What exactly does that mean? Instead of making what you like, you need to find out who's buying your products. That person becomes your customer. So what does your customer want? What does your customer like? What does your customer need? If you can solve a customer's problem, or you can evoke some type of a emotional connection, then you're in business because they're going to be more willing to purchase an item that does those things. By generating profit, you are able to actually make sure that your business is sustainable and can last over time. The shift that needs to be made here is that while you might love crafting and you might love making all of the things, once you decide that you're going to actually start a business, you have to shift from making what you want to make to making what your customers want and are willing to pay for. So here's the strategy. Go ahead and embrace market research. Figure out and identify who your ideal customer is. Define who they are, what they need, what their pain points are, and look at your products through the lens of how does this help them with any of these challenges or any of these pain points. Additionally, analyze trends. Figure out what is popular in your specific niche and look at what your competitors are doing. We're not looking at our competitors to copy them. We're looking for inspiration to see what's working and what's not working in the particular market. Probably the most simple of the choices here, but very important, is to just gather feedback from your customers. You can reach out to them via email. You can ask at Handmade Markets for feedback, gather reviews, as well as suggestions that will help to guide your product development decisions for the future. So next, let's talk a little bit about valuing your craft. When you're first getting started, a lot of people are like, oh my goodness, pricing is so hard. And they really struggle with figuring out what the best price is to charge for. They understand that they need to pay for their materials, but there's always this doubt that seeps in. I don't want to charge too much. There's some imposter syndrome there. Like, who am I to actually be trying to sell this product? Is my work actually good enough? A lot of times the inner critic will come out and it'll lead to us underpricing our work. When you price and move with CEO confidence, not only are you believing in the value of your work, but you're also looking at your knowledge, your experience, the craftsmanship of your work, the quality that you put in, and you're considering profit for the future and the sustainability of your business. Pricing isn't being greedy. Pricing is creating an opportunity for the customer to pay you the value for your time, for your knowledge, for the quality of your products in an effort to make sure that your business is going to be sustainable and around for a long time. If you are losing money over and over and over again, there's no way that you're going to be able to stay in business. So what's the strategy here? How do we move through this? When I teach about pricing, I always encourage people to make sure that they're pricing with purpose. I do not believe that everyone's pricing formula is going to look exactly the same. I think it's going to be different. Where I source my materials from might not be the same place that you source your materials from. So there's different factors that are going to be involved. There's also a layer of perceived value that's associated with your customer. I always tell people that they need to take a look at the price point and they need to make some decisions based around the value. If you have 20 years of experience, you're using higher quality materials, then you know that this is worth it. Increase your price, whether you increase it $2 or $10, that's up to you, but you increase your price based off the perceived value. The trick here is that you have to then communicate that value. So what do I mean by that? Mugs, 11-ounce ceramic mug. That's what I'm selling. But I can buy an 11-ounce ceramic mug at the Dollar Tree. I can buy the 11-ounce ceramic mug at Walmart, at Family Dollar, whatever, whatever the store is, I could probably find an 11-ounce ceramic mug. So what makes my mug stand out from the mugs that I'm finding at any of these discount retailers? That's what I need to communicate. I need to differentiate my product by sharing the experience that the customer is going to have with it, telling the story of my product, marketing and communicating the value of my product. So what you can't get at Walmart is a mug that has a picture of your family on it, that highlights a special moment in time that you all had, that serves as a memory. Every time you look at it, you're reminded of that moment. You can't get that from a regular mug at, from one of those stores, but you can get that from something that I create. And so I need to communicate what the value is to justify the price tag. There's one more mindset that I want to talk about today, and this is the scarcity mindset versus abundance. Have you ever met another crafter and they believe that there's not enough customers, and if they give you the insight, then you potentially can steal the customers from them? On the opposite side of that is the abundance mindset. We believe that there's ample customers out there for everybody. We all have potential and space and room for growth. There is a capacity for all of us to make the money that we need. If we were to step back and actually look, we know that the craft industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. One of the things that we definitely 100% have to believe is that there's money out there for us. This shift requires a move from the fixed mindset to a growth mindset. There's opportunities out here that are in abundance, and I'll get mine and you'll get yours, and we're going to all be doing amazing and great. Strategies that you can use to help cultivate that growth mindset. I really do enjoy daily affirmations. You can write and make up your own affirmations. Saying these things to yourself on a daily basis, it's almost like you keep repeating it and eventually you start to believe it. One of the tricks that I use when it comes to affirmations that really, really makes a difference for me is I just go into a mirror and I look myself in the eye, like straight on, and I'm like, Sherry, you are fill in the blank, right? When I look myself in my eye, it's like it's a signed contract with myself. Sherry, you got this. The other two, one is continuous learning. This is going out and seeking a workshop, seeking a class, seeking a mentor program, mastermind group, or something of that nature. I just want you to be careful because it is really, really easy to get stuck in that learning mode and almost get paralyzed on taking any action. And so there has to be a shift from what you learned to actually putting it into action and doing the thing. So just be careful there. And then the last piece is actually finding a community. So I know here in Philadelphia, I have several people that I have connected with who have businesses. They help me, I help them, and it's really nice to have that support. To wrap this video up, the transformation that we all need to see from maker to business owner. We have our crafter from before who was creating just for personal enjoyment. They probably were underpricing, and some of that could have been from self-doubt or imposter syndrome, just not being sure that they were good enough, and then also having a scarcity mindset, which limited their growth. Going through the different strategies and utilizing them and helping to shift that mindset emerges the CEO. And so we're at a point where People are strategically creating products that their customers are going to not only love, but actually make purchases. We are pricing for profit as well as long-term sustainability so that we can continue to have our businesses and also see our businesses grow. And then we are embracing this idea of abundance and a growth mindset because we recognize that there is enough out there for us. And if it is meant for us, it is meant for us. So the business that you're looking for, the business that you want, it does exist and it's on the other side of this transformation. So every choice and decision that you make for yourself and your business is making a step towards becoming the CEO that your handmade business deserves. If I said anything here today that resonated with you, feel free to like, comment, or subscribe. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, stay crafty.